I would request everyone to switch off their audios, please, except the maths department.
May we begin, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Very good afternoon. On behalf of Maths Department, I, Krishna Shastri, extend a warm welcome to Principal Madam, Suhani Madam, all in charges, HODs, and to my dear Goenkans for a review of the novel Alchemist, authored by Pavlo Coelho. I request Madam to accept the token of our respect, the bouquet, on behalf of Maths Department and give permission for further proceedings.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My dear friends, as I had already mentioned it in the invite, now sit back with a cup of coffee and lend your ears to listen to an inspiring stories of the alchemist. Now, we must know why we have chosen this book. The Alchemist is not only just a novel, it's the push you need in your low times and motivation to keep moving forward. It's quite light to read as coffee table book or a bedside novel. Alongside all this, I found the author a little handsome. I'm sure you all agree now. Now, let's know about the author. Paulo Coelho was born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He wanted to become a writer. Upon telling his mother this, she responded, "My dear, your father is an engineer. He is logical, reasonable man with a clear vision of the world. Do you actually know what it means to be a writer?" At 17, Coelho's parents committed him to a mental institution from which he escaped 3 times before being released at the age of 20. As per his parents' wishes, Coelho enrolled in law school and abandoned his dream of becoming a writer. He dropped out of law school and traveled South America, North America, Mexico, Europe, and to various places as a hippie. I'm sure you all know that the late 60s and early 70s, there was a lot of hippie culture. He came back to Brazil, and when he was 38 years old, he had spiritual awakening and wrote his first book, The Pilgrimage. He has authored about 20, more than 20, 25 novels, and his net worth as of today is about $500 million. The Alchemist was his second book, which became a super duper success and made him famous. He has sold 35 million copies. God, 35 million copies means there is something in this novel which has touched the souls of millions of people across the world. The book is an experience, and every single bit of the hype is worth the learning that you receive. To take you through this beautiful experience, I now hand over the discussion to Neeti Madam. Neeti Madam, all yours.
Thank you, Krishna ma'am. Santiago is the protagonist of The Alchemist. He is the lead character. Born in a small town in Andalusia, Santiago attends the seminary as a boy, but he longs to travel the world. He finally gets the courage to ask his father's permission to become a shepherd so that he can travel the fields of Andalusia. Santiago loves his flock, though he can't help but notice the limited nature of the sheep's existence. Seeking only food and water, they never lift their heads to admire the green hills or the sunset. Santiago's parents have continually struggled for the basics of life and have smothered their own ambitions accordingly. They live in beautiful Andalusia, which attracts tourists to its quaint villages and rolling hills. But for them, It is not a place of dreams. Santiago, on the other hand, can read and wants to travel. One day, he meets a mysterious man in the town of Tarifa who sends him on a journey to the other side of Africa. Santiago is a curious boy whose open mind makes him particularly suited to finding his purpose. He also values his freedom very highly, which is why he became a shepherd and why he is reticent to get involved in things which threaten his freedom. In the end, he realizes that playing it safe is often more threatening to his freedom than taking a risk. The constant theme in The Alchemist is to pursue your dreams by following what your heart desires. During the young boy's journey, he learns to listen to the heart and to follow the language of omens. With each passing obstacle and hurdle that the young boy encounters, there is a lesson to learn. It tells us that life is not about the consequences, but about the journey. The whole purpose of the novel is to dive inside and find yourself, of course, with the help of Santiago. The book details his journey and the various encounters that he experiences when he is following his dream. Throughout the journey, Santiago meets many new people and a lot of difficulty, which ultimately helps him to learn and grow the entire way. Does he find the treasures in the pyramids of Egypt? I would love to know that. And to take you further with Santiago on his journey, I would now like to hand over to Veenal ma'am. Over to you, Veenal ma'am.
Thank you, Neeti ma'am.
Santiago meets. He meets the merchant daughter and talks to her about life in the village. She asks why he chose to be a shepherd, even though he can read. Santiago avoids the question, preferring instead to talk about his travels. Santiago finds the merchant's daughter's moorish eyes and raven hair-colored hair entrancing. He experienced for the first time a desire to stay in one place for the rest of his life. When the merchant finally appears, he asks Santiago for the wool of 4 sheep and tells him to return the next year. The story jumps forward in time almost a year to 4 days before Santiago's next visit to the village. He stays in the abandoned church and daydreams about the merchant daughter. As he urges his sheep along, he admires their loyalty. Santiago imagines he could kill his sheep one by one, and each one would be none the wiser until he killed it. He feels troubled by his thoughts, and that night has the same troubling dream he had the year before. Suddenly, that an old woman in the nearby village of Tarifa interprets dreams. He decides to visit her. Santiago goes to the gypsy woman because he is troubled by a dream. He had twice been interrupted because of that dream. First, the encounter with the gypsy woman is significant
Because he has to overcome his fear of being kidnapped by the gypsies or being cheated by the gypsy. He had to push away negative stereotypes. He does so by concentrating on the image of the Sacred Heart of the Jesus on her wall. Second, he has to overcome his irritation that her interpretation of his dream is so obvious. Since he dreamed a child told him to go to the pyramids, Gypsy told him he must go to the Egypt to find the treasure. Why, he asks, and does he have to pay for the information? He informs him, it is because your dream was a difficult one. It is simple things in life that are more extraordinary. And as the payment, you must promise of 1/10 of the treasure. Now let's move further to know Santiago in his journey for treasure For that, now I hand over to Surbhi ma'am.
Thank you, Vinal ma'am. As it has been already mentioned by Vinal ma'am, that Santiago loves reading the book. So one of these days, while he was reading a book, an old man came and sat down next to him. The boy was not interested in the conversation as he was very much busy in thinking of sheep's merchant daughter. He had already imagined the scene many times, and every time the girl was very much impressed how the boy maneuvered the flock of sheep. But the man still attempted to talk. This old man talked about the book and said, it describes people's inability to choose their own destiny, and it ended up saying that everyone's belief in the world's greatest lie. The boy was surprised and asked, what is the world's greatest lie? Then the old man replied, it's this, that at a certain point of our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate. That's the world's greatest lie. This is how the conversation goes on. And the old man told him that he is from Salem. His name is Melchizedek, and he's a king of Salem. By listening this, the boy laughed, and he thought, sometimes it's better to be with sheep who don't say anything. But the old man continued his words and said, give me 1/10 of your sheep, and I'll let you know where is the hidden treasure. Now, the boy remembered his dream, and suddenly everything became clear to him that this old man must be the husband of that gypsy woman, and he has come to take some of money. The boy was annoyed and asked, why a king is meeting shepherd? The old man replied, my boy, you have succeeded in discovering your destiny. Then the old man told him about the treasure. The old man said, the treasure is uncovered by the force of flowing water. It is buried by the same current. Boy thought for a while and replied, what about 1/10 of my treasure? At this point, the old man looked disappointedly and replied, if you start out by promising what you don't even yet have, you will lose the desire to work towards getting it. On this, the boy replied, I have already promised 1/10 of my treasure to Gypsy. Man thought and replied, in any case, it's good that you have learned that everything in the life has its price. After saying this, the old man told Santiago to meet him tomorrow at the same point and the same place, and vanished. Next day, the boy came with the 6 sheep and asked, where is the treasure? The old man replied, it's in Egypt, near the pyramid. And the old man gave him 2 stones, Urim and Thummim. The black signifies the yes and white signifies no. He told the boy that I know that you are already aware about the treasure in Egypt, but I need to insist on the payment of 6 sheep because I helped you in taking your decision. Boy took the stone, put in the pouch, and thought for a while and said, from now onwards, I'll make my decision myself. My friends, this is how the life is also. We need to sometime make our decision. In this tough time also, we people are making some of the decisions which are going to help us in our life further. Moving back to the story. The boy continued his journey and he reaches a place named Tangier. There, he met a strange man who spoke Spanish, and he asked him, who are you? In this odd place also, he got a partner to talk, with whom he shared all his travel thoughts. The stranger man replied and asked, do you know that you have to cross the entire Sahara Desert? And do you have money? On this point, the boy showed him the pouch of money, and this stranger man took the pouch. They walked through the street of Tangier, but the boy could not take off his eyes from this stranger man's. Since this stranger man is carrying the pouch, but in a blink of eye, the stranger man was nowhere. The boy could not find the stranger man. Now, the boy realizes that now he don't have any money with him and his destiny has changed. My friends, he was very much unhappy what he has done. But to take the decision, he took out the stone from the pouch and decided to do the experiment. He thought to ask that he will take a clear question from the stone. He asked whether the old man's blessings was still with him. And he took out the stone, and it was yes. The boy was relaxed and thought, all right, I am going to find my treasure. And boy continues his journey, moving forward. So, I am handing over the mic to Ratna ma'am to take over the story. Ratna
Thank
ma'am?
you, sir. Thank you, Surbi ma'am. And this part, audience, there is a very famous saying, and when you can't go back, you have to worry only about best way of moving forward. That's what Santiago was thinking. He said that he would work through the narrow street of Tengering. Only in that way would he be able to read the omens. He knew it would require a lot of patience, but Shepherd knew all about patience. Once again, he saw that in that strange land, he was applying the same lesson he had learned with his sheep. In this part, he is remembering the old man saying that you will be tested on your journey. All things are one. So Santiago enters the crystal merchant shop. Crystal merchant is a struggling merchant who takes care of a crystal shop on top of a desolate hill in the street of Tengering. He requested the crystal merchant, may I clean the all crystal article, just hoping to get only food in exchange of the work. He's requesting the crystal merchant. So in that, crystal merchant is replying, because the crystal was dirty and both of you and I needed to cleanse our mind of negative thought. Santiago helped crystal merchant to improve his sales by various strategies like selling tea and crystalware, attracting customers by crystal display. He has worked almost 1 year and earned enough money to go for his journey. But now he is unsure how to proceed. Should he return to Andalusia as a rich man and buy more sheep? Or should he cross the vast desert, Sahara Desert, in pursuit of the hidden treasure of his dreams? One morning, he woke up and told crystal merchant, I am leaving today. I have the money. I need to buy my ship. And you have the money. You need to go to Makkah. It's the principle of favorability. Every search began with the beginner's luck. And every search ends with the victor being severely tested. So every blessing ignored become a curse. So audience basically never stop dreaming. Crystal merchant replied, Maktub. In Arab, it means it's already written in the destiny. So he joined a caravan leading to Egypt. So here, audience, you can correlate with this. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us become better too. So over to Poonam ma'am to continue the journey of Santiago.
Thank you, Ratna ma'am. Santiago joins the caravan crossing the Sahara Desert toward Egypt. Then he meets Englishman. Because Englishman and Santiago share a commitment to pursuing their personal legend, they quickly become friends. Englishman prefers to read his books rather than interacting with others. The Englishman, however, also challenges Santiago with his intellectual knowledge focused approach to life. He teaches Santiago the value of book learning and introduces him to important concepts in alchemy, such as the master work. But he must also learn from Santiago the importance of experience and friendship. Here I request Krishna ma'am to put some light on The Alchemist.
Thank you, Poonam ma'am. At this juncture, I thought I will apprise the audience about alchemy and the philosopher's stone to understand the deeper meaning of the novel. Alchemy is an ancient practice shrouded in mystery and secrecy in the 17th century. Its practitioners mainly claim to turn ordinary metals such as lead, zinc, nickel, copper into precious metals such as gold and silver. This can be called the medieval ancestor of chemistry. From medieval ages to late 17th century, the so-called philosopher's stone was the most sought after goal in the world of alchemy. J.K. Rowling has a piece of it mentioned in her famous series Harry Potter, and I'm sure some of you have read this. An alchemist was someone who transformed ordinary metal into a precious metal. Now, the philosopher's stone acted as elixir of life with power to cure illness, renew the properties of youth, and even grant immortality to those who possessed it. The philosopher's stone may not have been a stone at all, but a powder or other substance variously known as tincture, the powder, or materia prima. In the quest to find it, alchemists examined countless substances in their hidden laboratories and built a base of knowledge in chemistry, pharmacology, and metallurgy. Many of Western brilliant minds searched for this stone over the centuries. They say even the bigger names such as Archimedes, Newton, etc. are included in this list, though we have no proof for this. The book has related the quest to the philosopher's stone and the philosophical facts of life. Over to Poonam ma'am for further continuing of the story.
Thank you, Krishna ma'am. Englishman is traveling with the caravans to Sahara Oasis Al Fayoum, where a powerful 200-year-old alchemist stays. The Englishman plans to ask the alchemist the secret of his trade, as it turned out that the caravan must make an extended stop in Al Fayoum in order to avoid boiling wars taking place in the desert. Using the Englishman as its example, the novel suggests that even though knowledge gained from book can be useful, true wisdom comes from experience, which one must earn through action. While Englishman and Santiago were searching for alchemists, Santiago falls in love with a girl named Fatima, who lives in the oasis. From here, I request Suparna ma'am to continue with the story.
Thank you, Poonam ma'am. Santiago's lady love, Fatima, a desert woman. Here I would like to add something. The only female character in the book, The Alchemist, with whom Santiago wants to spend his life. Fatima is defined by her beauty and her willingness to wait for Santiago while he pursues his personal legends. Just imagine the scene when the two of them first met. At that moment, it seemed to him that time stood still. The soul of the world surged within him. When he looked into her dark eyes and saw her lips were poised between a laugh and silence, he learned the most important language that all the world spoke, the language that everyone on the earth was capable of understanding in their heart. Yes, it was love. Something older than humanity, more ancient than the desert. Something that exerted the same force whenever two pairs of eyes met. She smiled. That was certainly an omen. The omen he had been awaiting, without even knowing he was, for all his life. The omen he had sought to find with his sheep, in his books, in the crystals, and in the silence of the desert. As a desert woman, she is stoic and steadfast. The love between Santiago and Fatima was held up as ideal. A love that is sincere and true, but also involves faith rather than any effort to control the beloved. Fatima believes in letting her beloved son Santiago wander free and encourages him to pursue his personal legends. She promises to wait for him while he does so. Now back to the story again. While Santiago continues his journey, I hand over to Isha ma'am to take you further.
Thank you, Suparna ma'am. Okay, the protagonist of the book ultimately approaches to the Egypt pyramid that he have dreamt about. He starts digging for the treasure, but the local people think that he is a thief and stabs him all over the body. He recites them his entire story, but the local people laughed at him as he had risked his life just for a dream. They counseled the boy by saying that there is no treasure here and he should better go home. But the boy continues digging, which strengthens the quote. And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. Friends, I am sure you would have heard the famous dialogue of Shah Rukh Khan's movie Om Shanti Om कि इतनी शिद्दत से मैंने तुम्हें पाने की कोशिश की है कि इतनी शिद्दत से मैंने तुम्हें पाने की कोशिश की है कि हर एक जर्रे ने मुझे तुमसे मिलाने की साजिश की है. कहते हैं कि अगर किसी चीज को दिल से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसे तुमसे मिलाने की कोशिश में लग जाती है. The same happened in the story. After a long effort, Santiago finds a map to his treasure. The map leads him to the same old church with sycamore from where it all started. At the end, Santiago found his treasure at the same place where he had his dream. But now he's a wise man, a real alchemist who knows how to turn metal into gold, how to turn himself into a wind. From here, we get a lesson that the universe won't grant your deepest desires for free. You have to pass certain tests in life in order to become worthy of your desires. I would like to hand over to Mrinalini ma'am now to take you through the lessons learned from the book. Over to you, Mrinalini ma'am.
Thank you, Isha ma'am. Every time I heard this dialogue, I always remembered about Shah Rukh Khan. But now I know the story, The Alchemist. I can easily connect it to the journey of a shepherd boy to follow his dreams. So, my dear Goenkans, while reading this book, few lessons which I have learned from Santiago's journey I am presenting through the video. Saying Alchemist, a good book, is saying like pizza is good. I hope the character Santiago has touched your soul as it touched ours. If you like this review and have some time to spare, this is a good coffee table or a bedside book. I finally hand over the discussion to Krishna ma'am for the conclusion of the book review. Over to you, Krishna ma'am.
Thank you, Millie ma'am. And thanks, my dear friends, for being patient audience. And we hope that we have done the justice to this wonderful book. I thank Principal Madam for providing this opportunity for us, which has honed the other dimension of our profession, the good communication. Thanks to my colleagues who were ever enthusiastic to pitch in at all stages of the presentation. You may write your opinion on Goenkan Official, on Goenkan Official WhatsApp portal. I wish you all a very happy weekend and do not forget to enjoy the weekend. Thank you, one and all. Thanks.